Hello everyone, welcome back to Banajod PU College online classes. In the last class, we had discussed different abiotic factors, how it is going to be affecting on the organism's life. In that, I have given 4 types of the abiotic factors that we have discussed completely about the temperature. Now in this class, we are discussing about the second factor, that is the water. Clear? Now we can see water is also an important abiotic factors which influencing life of an organism. Already I told you that most important relevant ecological factor is temperature. After that, the next important factor is water. Okay, that's what. Water is also an important, like as a temperature factor which influencing the life of an organism. It is also influencing the life of an organism. How it is going to be influencing the life of an organism, we can discuss now. Now we can see that the next point, in fact, life on earth originated in water. Life on earth originated in water is unsustainable without water. Generally, the life is first stored in the water, so that all the living organisms are requiring compulsory water is an essential factor. If the water is not presented, the life of an organism is not there. That is only this point meaning. In fact, life is originated on the earth in water, so that if the water is not presented, not there, the life is unsustainable without the water. Without the water, the life is unsustainable. Life is unsustainable. Are you getting now? One more time I will tell you that. In fact, life is originated in the earth. First life is started in the water. Clear? So that if the water is not there, the life is unsustainable. We can't sustain in the nature. We can't sustain or we can't survive in the nature. Because of that, we need water as a essential abiotic factor. Clear? Right. Now we can see the next point. Its availability is so limited in desert. In desert areas, if you see, the water availability is very less. So that in the desert environment, some of the special kind of the organisms only can survive. Like camel, some of the rats. Okay, so those organisms only we are observing in the deserts. The reason is, in the deserts the organisms are, whichever the organisms are having the proper adaptations in their body, those organisms only having an ability or possible for the organism to live there. If they are undergoing, if the organisms are can't undergoing any kind of adaptations, mean they can't survive in the desert area. Now you can see that one more time I will tell you that the organisms whichever present in the desert area, they need the special kind of the adaptations to survive in that nature, survive in that desert area. For example, if you take camel, and if you take the Opuntia plant, if you see here, camel and Opuntia plant, if you see here, the camel also having the some of the adaptations like water conserving ability. Water conserving ability the camel is having. They can store the water for long time. Such ability the camel is having. So that is the reason the camel can survive in the desert area, and so many things are modified, things are there in the camel then compared to the other organisms. So that's what camel can survive in the desert area. Like as the long legs are there for the camel, and even though the eyes of the camel, the eyelids of the camel is very thick. Okay, and they have the hump, can store the fat materials for the long time sustainability. From the camel they can, from the hump the camel can get the fat. Means hump is helpful for the storing of fat, which is also one of the energy source for the camel. When they are not getting proper amount of food material, they can metabolize that fat material. Even though from the fat they can get the some amount of the water, that water is useful for the camel. And even though from that fat they can get the some of the useful energy giving materials from that fat. Clear? Now you can see one more time I will tell you that camel having some of the adaptations, like camel having a hump, large hump. The hump is storing the fat materials. When they are requiring the water, the hump containing fat can dissolve it or undergoing metabolism. During in fat metabolism, it can produce the water as a byproduct. That water the camel can use for their other metabolisms. Clear? Like as in the Opuntia plant, if you see, this is the Opuntia cactus category. If you observe the Opuntia plant, one stem part I draw here. Here you can see some of the spines are presented over on the Opuntia. What is the advantage of the spines? Mean these spines are helpful for the conserving of water in the Opuntia. Okay, these spines are reduced leaves actually. Okay, these are the reduced or modified leaves. These leaves are helpful for the conservation of water. Conservation of water means it can prevent the transpiration. Okay, if it has prevented the transpiration, automatically water can save in their stems. Clear? That is what these kind of the special mechanisms having organisms only can survive in the desert area. Okay, because in the desert area we are noticing or we are observing very less amount of the water, because here very less amount of the precipitation we are observing. You know, while discussing biomes I explained desert area precipitation is very less. That is the reason here rains are very less, so that the water availability also less. That's what some of the special organisms only can survive in these areas. Clear? Right. Now the next point you can observe it here. The productivity and distribution of plants. Productivity and distribution of plants also heavily depends upon water. Okay. Now I will tell you that productivity means nothing but food production. If you see that wherever the water availability is there the productivity is high. The reason is water is needed for the photosynthesis process. During in photosynthesis process, the water is also one of the component during in the photosynthesis process. Okay, for the photosynthesis process, water is needed to prepare the food material. That is the reason water is essential for the plants to undergo the photosynthesis. If the photosynthesis is high, obviously food material production also high and automatically increasing the productivity. Clear? Like as distribution of plants. Distribution of plants also I told you that. If you see that in the desert area, some of the special kind of plants only we are seeing in the desert area. The reason is in deserts we will get the very less amount of the rainfall, so that very less amount of water availability is there in the desert. That's what less distribution, some very less variety of the plants are we are seeing in the desert area. If you see the normal tropical regions, there the rainfall is more, so that we are noticing many variety, the diverse variety of the plants we are seeing in the tropical forest areas. Like as the productivity and distribution of plants also depends upon the water. Where the water is more, their productivity and distribution of plants also more. Where the water is less, then the productivity and distribution of plants also varies or less. Clear? Like as the next point we can discuss. For aquatic organisms, we are thinking actually whatever the organisms are there in the water bodies, those organisms where there is no problem because they are already there in the water, they will not face any kind of water related problems we are thinking. That is not at all true. The reason I will tell you that whatever the organisms are there in the water, they are mainly depends upon the chemical composition and pH of the water, and water is also important. Okay, the reason is whatever the organisms are there in the water, they are also depends upon the chemical composition and pH of the water. These two are varies when the organisms are going to be affected. Some organisms are needs the high pH values, some organisms are need the low pH values. Okay, reason some are presented in the acidic environment, some are there in the basic environment, some are presented in the neutral environment. They compulsory depends upon the ion composition or chemical composition as well as on the pH value. Clear? This is also decide the which kind of the organisms are present in the particular area. Now we can see the next point. The salt concentration varies in aquatic environment. Okay, the salt concentration also one of the factor. Here the salt concentration is varies in area to area. In one water body, if you see, the less salt concentration is there. In one more water body, if you observe it, more salt concentration is there. Okay, now we can see some of the examples here. The salt concentration measured as salinity. The salt concentration, we are saying it as a salinity in parts per thousand. Parts per thousand. It means ppm. We are measuring in the ppms. ppm means parts per millions or parts per thousands. We can say it as a ppp. ppt we can say. ppt. ppt means parts per thousand. ppm means parts per millions. ppt means parts per thousand. Now you can see that here in different water bodies, different concentration of the salt is there. For example, if you take up here, first one, in land water, we are seeing the salt concentration is less than 5 ppt value. Less than 5 ppt. Okay, in the salt concentration of the land water is less than 5 ppt. Like as if you see in the sea water, the salt concentration is 30 to 35 ppts. 30 to 35 ppt. And like as in hypersaline lagoons and salt lakes, if you see, we are observing more than 100 ppt salt concentration is presented in the hypersaline lagoons as well as to the salt lakes. Clear? One more time I will tell you that in the land water, we are observing less than 5 ppt value of the salt, and in the sea water, we are observing 30 to 35 ppt salt concentration. And even though we are seeing the saline lagoons and salt lakes, we are observing greater than 100 ppt salt concentration. This is very important for the entrance. Very important for the NEET and CET exams. Okay, these bits on the basis of this one concentrations, they will ask the sometimes questions. Like the concentration of inland water is this one. Concentration of sea water. Concentration of the salt in hyper lagoons. Okay, they may give these points. Clear? Right. Now you can see that many freshwater animals cannot live for a long time in sea water, and many marine water fishes cannot live long time in fresh water because of osmotic problems. We know very well of this concept. We are already discussed in the plant transportation in first year. Okay, there we are discussing what is osmosis, how the organisms are facing osmotic problems. We are discussed clearly. One more time I will discuss about this. See here, many freshwater organisms cannot survive in the marine water. Marine water organisms cannot survive long time in the fresh water. The reason I will tell you that is because of osmotic problems. They can't manage their osmoregulation. They can't maintain their osmoregulation when they are changing their habitat. I will tell you that in simple way. For example, if you take up here, this is the marine water area. For example, you can take marine water area. Okay, in this area, if you place one freshwater fish, you will place in this area. For example, now you can see here. These freshwater fish, we know here in the marine water, we are seeing the salt concentration is very high. Salt ions, sodium ions are very high. Salt is more present in the water. Now if you see the salt concentration in the water, this is the water. In the water, salt concentration is high. Then compared to fish body, here salt concentration is less salt concentration, here more salt concentration. Now you can see, you know the osmosis process. Here wherever the salt concentration is less, no, it means that here water concentration is high in the fish body. then compared to this beaker. This beaker or aquarium you can take. In the aquarium, salt is more, water is less. Concentration I am telling. Salt concentration is more than the water concentration when you compare to this fish. Fish having more water in their body, less salt, because this fish is the freshwater fish. Freshwater fish. If you place the freshwater fish in a marine water, what problem we are facing mainly here? The problem is the water is moving from high concentration to low concentration. It means that in the marine water we are placing a freshwater fish. Freshwater fish facing the problem is because from the freshwater body this water is moving into the marine water environment. The reason is freshwater fish having the more concentration of water in their body than compared to the marine water, and salt concentration is less. That's what, from high concentration to water is moving into low concentration. Here high concentration of water is moving into the low concentration of water which is there in the aquarium. Clear? The same way, if you place marine fish in fresh water, what happens if you see here? This is the freshwater environment. Here this is the fresh water. In this fresh water, salt concentration, salt ions are very less. Less salt concentration. Okay, now if you place one fish here, now you can see that this is the marine fish. If you take here, this is marine water fish. Marine fish. If you place the marine fish in fresh water, what happens? Okay, if you compare to this environment and this environment, here marine water fish having high salt concentration, so that what happens, the water which is there in the outside environment of this fish, means in the aquarium, it is trying to moving into the freshwater fish body, so that more amount of the water is entering into the fish body. Finally it gets the bulges and death of the fish takes place. Clear? Getting now? See that this water is moving from outside external environment to inside the body of fish, so that the fish may die. This is also facing the osmotic problem. Here the water is coming out from the fish body to external environment. Here from external environment to water is moving into the fish body. These kind of osmolarity problems are facing the fishes when they are changing their habitat from land water to if they are moving into the sea water. Clear? This is the problem. Now we can see, to rectify this problem, they need to maintain the osmoregulation. What is meant by osmoregulation? Osmoregulation is the process of maintaining salt and water concentration or water balance within the body of an organism. They need to maintain the sufficient amount of salt as well as the sufficient amount of water in their body. Such process is called as a osmoregulation. About this osmoregulator organisms we will discuss in the next concept. After completion of abiotic factors, we will discuss the responses to abiotic factor. One concept is there. There we will discuss what are the osmoregulators and what are the non-osmoregulators. We can discuss clearly. Okay, now just see that the definition of osmoregulation, to maintain the salt and water balance in their body. That process is, that mechanism is called as a osmoregulation. Clear? Now we can see, based on the range of tolerance. In the last class we are discussing based on the range of temperature, but here based on the range of tolerance to the salinity, their tolerance to the temperature, here just changing is salinity. Salt, based on the ranges of salt concentration, the organisms are classified into two types. Okay, first one is the uri-haline organisms. Uri means white, haline means salt. Okay, uri-haline organisms mean the organisms which can tolerate or survive a wide range of salinities. A wide ranges of salinities. I told you that clearly. It means that from land water, for example, in land water, less than 5 ppt salt concentration is there. If this fish is moving from this place to, unfortunately, to the sea water, then also they can survive. If in case of that, this fish is moving into hyper lagoons, or unfortunately, or sometimes, if it is moving, then also it can survive. Example, if you take up migratory fishes, they can migrate from normal fresh water to marine water to fresh water, they can migrate it. They have an ability to maintain the osmolarity, so that the organisms which can survive in the wide range of salinities, they are called as euryhaline organisms. Example, green crab. Green crab is the one of the example. These organisms having an ability to survive in the wide ranges of salinities. Whether it is in the less than 5 ppt salt concentration also they can survive. If you place this one in the 100 above more than 100 ppt saline containing area also it can survive. Clear? Now we can see the next one, stenohaline. Steno means narrow, haline means salt concentration. Now we can see the organisms which can tolerate a narrow range of temperature, narrow range of salinities. It means narrow ranges of variations in the salt concentration they can survive. They are called as stenohaline organisms. Example, goldfish. Goldfish, if you place from the fresh water to, if you place in the marine water, it will die. The similar way in the euryhaline cannot die, because the reason is they can tolerate in the any kind of environment. The reason is they are surviving the wide ranges of variations in their salt concentration. Okay, clear? This one cannot survive. Narrow ranges they can manage it, but more changes are happening in the salt concentration, mean they can't survive. That's what I told you already there also. High don't put. You have to write in the place of high, wide. Wide is different, high is different. In the place of less, you can put the narrow. Okay, clear? Right. Thank you.